Hey,
Hey,
what's that? Is that a freshly manufactured jumper I heard you cry that I'm wearing? No, it's a new jersey. Hey, hey, there we go. Getting off to a rollicking start. Um,
uh, I think that that joke doesn't really work in America because we don't call them jumpers, we call them sweaters.
we're not in America, Ron.
We're in New Jersey. We're literally in
Oh
America.
yeah. Oh fuck yeah, I forgot. Damn. Well,
That's literally the point of this podcast. Where have you been?
trust me, Ron. Trust me. Uh, if you were other than America, you would be heading to the emergency room with splitting sides right about now.
Right.
Yes, at my hilarious intro. That's for sure. You could take that to the bank.
Okay. Right. Out of curiosity, have you ever been to Old Jersey?
Um, no, actually,
No?
no.
It's an island off the
It's
coast
a
of
very small
England, right?
island. Yes, but
Well,
just
right.
called
Yeah,
Jersey.
I
Yeah,
had a friend I used to work with, a girl from Jersey.
right. Famous for cows.
Cows, right? That's where the Jersey cow comes from, right?
Indeed. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I haven't. Thanks for asking.
Do,
Have
do,
you?
do, do they? I haven't been to Jersey, but I knew someone from Jersey. Do
Okay.
they have Jersey cows in New Jersey?
They have New Jersey cows in New Jersey.
Oh, do they?
They look down upon the old Jersey cows because they're the next gen.
Like,
Yeah. Mm, that's a
moo,
pathetic amount of milk you produce.
moo, moo, moo.
Yes, there we go. You didn't know, did you, viewers, that Ron was famed for his snooty cow impression? Yeah.
Moo, 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 moo.
He also does
Moo.
haughty bull as well. You want to give that a go?
It's not came out.
Yes. See, this is value for money. This
Right, there you go.
where else do you get Ron Scott's haughty bull?
Hottie Bull. That's a good name. That's the name of my autobiography, I think. Hottie Bull.
Haughty bull. So
Anyway, so here we
yeah.
are in Jersey. Finally, we're out of New York.
No,
Finally.
you fool, Ron. We were in Jersey last time as well. Remember?
Finally, we're still in New Jersey. Finally.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still here. Second of our two New Jersey double bills. So first out the gate, Alice, Sweet Alice, or Communion, or Holy Terror, it's also known as, from 1976. First viewing, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically, I think it's shot all of different bits of Jersey, but I think it's primarily Paterson, New Jersey, which is where director Alfred Soule is from. Interestingly, it's actually his second film. He made his debut feature was a porn film called Deep Sleep, which he made under get this, for a pseudonym. His pseudonym for that film, his director pseudonym, was Ogden Learox Polay.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a hell of a pseudonym, right? Like,
Yeah.
he really went for it with that one. Ogden for a start, right?
Yeah, Ogden.
Learox Polay.
Have you ever met an Ogden?
The only other Ogden I know is the Small Faces album, right? Ogden's Nut Gone Flick, but I don't think that's someone's name. That's a like a brand.
I feel like I've never met an Ogden, but I feel like it's like the name of like an author or something that I've heard or seen somewhere. Ogden.
I think the most famous one is that Small Faces album. It's the one with Lazy Sunday on it.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, yeah, there might be another Ogden that
Okay.
Isn't there someone someone Ogden? It's a middle name. Is there an actor someone Ogden Steers around knocking around nowadays? That is it a David Ogden Steers? Is that a person?
I don't know. Never heard of that. There's a poet named Ogden Nash.
It's a good name, Ogden.
Ogden, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Ogden.
If I
Hey,
had a child,
Oggy.
I might
Yeah, David
call
Ogden
him.
Steers. You're right. He was in Match.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So there we go. If you're an Ogden, we like your name, and please let us know what you think of the show, but only if you really like it. If you don't, fuck off, Oggy.
Right.
But no, good name, Ogden. I like it. So anyway,
Anyway,
he chose that name for his debut film, Deep Sleep, which I've seen. It's not that interesting a film, but the backstory around it is more interesting because it was quite early on. So making this hardcore porn film in suburban New Jersey was quite the. I think there was like a court case, and it was quite the big public scandal, and
really?
yeah. But obviously, he didn't get. They didn't write him out of town because he stayed to make his next film, Alice Sweet Alice, which is quite it has a very good reputation in the kind of horror thriller community, let's put it that way. It's got quite the cult following, this film. Seems to be set in, I think it's the early 60s, right?
61, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to tell because they do a really good job of period detail and stuff like that, but it's not in your face either, right? It doesn't have like a close up of a calendar, or like it could almost be 1976. I feel like,
But the synopsis says 61, so I think it's
yeah.
61.
But when you were feeling, because did you feel it was a period piece, or that it was?
Well, no, because
exactly when the period was, or
no, yeah, it definitely could have been 76 as well, right? So I mean, yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's the Catholicism that maybe would like it makes it seem a little bit older than 76, right? Like,
right. Okay.
it seems slightly. I don't know if I suppose you would still have enclaves, maybe even now, but it seems a little bit old to be quite. Everyone seems very Catholic, don't they? Like, I know it's a Catholic community and it's set around communion, but you know what I mean. The community seems like quite observant of the faith, or
Yeah, I don't really know enough about like the development of Catholicism and how it's
Well,
evolved through.
you might have noticed something, Ron. Neither do I, clearly.
Really, I had noticed.
But I have first time I saw this film, second time, third time I saw this film. It's just something about it. It says period piece, even though I'm not quite sure which period it is. If you see what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't seem to have picked up on that necessarily.
No, I didn't. I mean, it was pre now. That's what I got from it. So yeah, I don't think it really mattered. It didn't really matter that it was shot in 76 but set in 61. It was.
Oh, you're
sort
quite
of,
right. Actually, it doesn't make a big difference.
I don't think I didn't think it make a difference, right? So I don't know why they even would bother doing it. That I mean,
it does seem a little bit. It does seem a little bit giving yourself extra work, right?
I don't really see what the point was. I mean, like setting it in 76 would have been almost the same film. So except they would have had less difficulty with costumes, I think.
Yeah, because I think they do nail all the early 60s fashions and stuff. Seem to be, again, without shoving it in your face, they seem pretty well on point.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, I'm not quite sure why it
Why
needs
bother?
to be. Yeah. Well, anyway, they did. So good on them, because they pulled it off at least. So there's basically within this Catholic community, communion's coming up, and a little Brooke Shields in her first.
Oh yeah,
is
in her first role. Yeah,
is going to be the instantly recognizable as well, right? Like Brooke Shields, as always.
I was like, oh crap, it's Brooke Shields. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she ends up murdered, basically. A figure in a yellow.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, spoilers all the way for this one, by the way, because I think we do need to talk about what happens. A figure in a yellow Mac, a little bit like, remind me a little bit of Don't Look Now, which we've done on the show before, right? The yellow Mac.
Yes. Yeah.
And a kind of one of those always creepy plastic see-through mask. Like, I don't know why, when they were first manufactured or what for, but I can't imagine they were ever manufactured for anything other than looking fucking creepy. Like, no one ever puts one of those on and looks funny or jolly. No, you look fucking creepy. But I don't think they are Halloween masks. I don't think that's what they were originally.
Yeah. I got the impression there must have been some kind of like vaudeville or something or other. I don't know, or something. Yeah. I don't know.
But they are fucking creepy. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Or really. They were used for like because usually it's like a bunch of makeup. So like maybe they were used for like cosmeticians or estheticians to learn how to apply makeup or something. I don't know. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know.
But anyway, they're fucking creepy. And yeah, there's someone in one of these and kills, Brooke Shields doesn't last long in her debut feature. And I suppose the prime suspect almost immediately is her sister, right? Her younger sister, who was supposed to be 12, but was played by 19-year-old Paula Shepherd.
Was she the younger sister or the older sister? I think it was the older sister, right?
Was she?
I think she was the older sister. I think Brooke Shields was meant to be the younger one. She was like the baby.
That would make more sense. I was just wondering why she was getting communion first, but well, anyway.
Well, they kind of implied that she was more the favorite. That's one reason that she was acting out, was that the older one was sort of being forgotten and pushed aside. And you're the cute one. We love you the best. And they kind of, it was almost like they were kind of neglecting the older kid.
Yeah, absolutely. But
that was why you're supposed to think it was her, because it was like kind of jealousy.
You'd still get communion, or you don't have to be a favorite. Again, neither of us really knows enough.
I have no idea.
But I wouldn't have thought. I would have thought it's a fairly. I don't think it's an exclusive thing, is it? Oh, you can't do communion. You're not good looking enough. I don't know. All good Catholics get communion, right?
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know, but I thought it was pretty clear that she was meant to be. These Brooke Shields was meant to be the younger one, but why everyone didn't get it, I don't know. Yeah,
that would make more sense. I mean, to be fair, though, Paula Shepherd still looks very young for 19. I mean, she does pull off the younger. Actually, the one thing that they do quite good, I think, in this, it's good casting because Paula Shepherd looks young, and then sometimes not that young. There's even a bit of dialogue where some of the cops say something about her being quite promiscuous or something, and she's kind of big for her age, but so they do. So when you do see the killer in the yellow mask, and you can't, the way they film it is quite clever because you never get a good. You don't know what size they are. You can't quite.
Right. Is that it's kind of far away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tall
you see them, a child. There's like a couple times where the killer is sort of like ducking through a door,
right?
And you think a couple times I thought myself going like, wait, relatively, where was that killer?
Yeah.
Like there's height on the door, and was it like where would the what's her face's name might be? But yeah.
Because it's done quite well. Because if you think about it, if the big reveal when we do find out who it was, you would think that would be so obvious in terms of like
size, yeah.
But actually, one thing the film does quite well is actually they do that. They play that quite well, right? It's quite well done throughout. It's regardless of what else you might think of the film, that bit is done quite well, I think.
Right.
So yeah, she becomes the prime suspect, like you said, out of jealousy. Plus, she seems to have a history of playing up. She's obviously a problem child, right? Interesting as well. Paula Shepherd only ever in one other film, Liquid Sky. I don't know if you've ever seen Liquid Sky from 1982. Very interesting, odd film set in like the New York City punk scene, where actually, oddly enough, is probably the film that inspired Batteries Not Included, if you remember.
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, because in Liquid Sky, a very, very, very small spaceship lands on like the windowsill of this like performance artist in the NYC punk scene. It's a very weird, interesting kind of movie. And yeah, Batteries Not Included always seemed like, they've taken that idea but turned it into I can't even remember anything about Batteries Not Included. I know I saw it when it was new.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I remember I saw it too. I think there was an old man in it or something. I remember an old man finding it or something. Yeah, I don't remember much about it either. So
I'm also thinking, is it a little bit like Cocoon in
yeah,
tone?
I remember
That
it was
kind of
around
thing?
the same time as that, and I remember it
Yeah,
being kind of
and there might be some
yeah,
old
yeah,
people,
Hume
right?
Cronin. That was the old guy. It was Hume Cronin. It was a bunch of
That's
old
right.
people,
And I
and
think
then
yes, Batteries Not
yeah,
Included
it was like a slumlord, wasn't it? Like a slumlord,
yes, and
and
old
then they
people
help
about to
you.
be evicted. So yeah,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
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 yeah. So there we go. Yeah,
yeah,
it is a bit cocoony, I think.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Right.
again, another
Yeah,
film.
because it had the old people involved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another
well,
film I haven't
yeah,
seen in
Cocoon. Yeah,
since it was new. I don't think. And Cocoon: The Return.
going to return. Yeah, yeah. Brain Dennehy. Yeah, what the, remember this?
No, you remember more than I do. Just I remember basically with a bunch
I
of
just
old
remember
people.
that I think I saw Cocoon a bunch when I was a kid. There was a part where like right when because the thing was the
Oh
this is
yes,
totally
the
different.
light
Where
and
he had
yes, yes, I do
he had
remember.
you saw the shining under his eyes, right? You know, like yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, just I remember there's a bunch of old people, and then they swim in a pool where there's some cocoons, and
Yeah,
then they're
it
all
makes them young again. They're
super
kind of
cool and shagging and fucking dressing
yeah,
up the
it makes
nine.
them all feel young again. They're kind of de-aging or whatever, or feeling
Yeah,
young, right?
yeah.
Then they all leave with them at the end, right? So spoiler.
Oh, that's right. Another film spoiled. And then they come
Yeah.
back. Hence the
Take it
return.
back. The return, right? Yeah. So
And then Courtney Cox is in that one, right? I think the second
is
one.
she? I
Yeah,
can't remember that, but yeah.
that's about all I remember about them. I think it's pretty much the same story again. Because the first one was a hit, right?
Anyway,
That's one of those. That's one of those 80s films I think would be. If you attempted to watch it now, would probably seem like it came from another. Well, it does come from
dimension.
another century, right? But it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, she was in Liquid Sky as well, and that's about it. Which is a shame because she's actually quite good in this, and she's good in Liquid Sky as well. She's like,
I thought she was I thought she was Susan Day for a long time because she really looks like a young Susan Day. Do you remember Susan Day? Yeah, I
yes,
because she had the
yes,
same kind of facial. I was like, is that Susan Day? And I had to look her up. I was like, oh, it's some other person I've never heard of. So, yeah,
right. Um, yes. So, yeah, and then basically, it's is she the killer or isn't she? And a bunch of other characters who seem to have either witnessed or have their suspicions about Paul Shepherd being the killer end up being killed. But is she the killer because she ends up in an institution? But then the killings carry on. So who might the killer? So yeah. So basically, it's a Giallo style whodunnit with a very, 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 very fat landlord in filthy trousers and kittens,
yeah.
played by Alfonso De Noble, who wasn't in many films either. I suppose the main star is
But
Linda Miller, right? Plays the mother, basically, is the mother
right? Yeah,
who refuses to believe that her daughter is. Well, she might be a little psychopath, but she's not. She's not a little murderer. Let's put it
right.
that
Yeah,
way.
she refuses to believe that it's her daughter, right? So,
Yeah. And then, I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. You can reveal the killer if you want to. I can probably talk around it. We don't have to. But if you're
I
going,
say we just reveal it. Let's just do it. I don't
okay.
care. People know.
Well, do it. Do it while revealing what you thought of Alice, Sweet Alice, as
Well,
the haughty cow. Not the haughty
I should
bull.
do I should do the whole thing as
As the
as the
haughty
haughty
bull.
bull.
That may
The whole
get
thing.
tiresome.
I can't watch. Oh, well, I thought this movie was very
That's the
well.
next
Anyway, I can't
podcast.
do that now.
That's the next
That's
podcast.
that's too much of
I'll
it.
take on the persona of the haughty cow, and
Okay.
you do the snooty cow, and you be the haughty bull,
Yep.
and
Oh, the
that we'll
haughty
have a
bull.
whole side project,
That's a whole like sketch comedy. This the snooty cow and the haughty bull.
and we'll only do
Sounds like a really terrible British pub.
and the snooty cow. There probably is one called the snooty cow.
Well,
And
there was actually in my hometown there was one. My university pub was called the Snooty Fox actually. So
there we go. Yeah, that sounds right. But we'll only review films based around cows and farms and
right, yeah,
dairy
cows.
products.
Yeah, yes. Today we're doing Babe Pig in the City. Anyway, yeah, I thought this movie was what did I think of this movie? This movie was it was it was okay. It was just okay. I thought it was um I mean yeah, I mean I get what they were going for, and I think it was better in idea than it was in execution. I think it could have been tighter. I thought it was uh you know it wasn't entirely believable that it wasn't her. When okay, so spoilers, the reveal at the end that it was. I don't. That was the other thing, was that the character that it ended up being was so forgettable that it wasn't even that big of a reveal when you found out that it was her. It was I guess was she the, the housekeeper,
Yeah, the
or like,
Monsonniers,
yeah, yeah,
keeper, yeah.
keeper, yeah. So I mean, you'd only really seen her in like one or two scenes before that, an exception of that kind of like comic relief scene where he can't feed himself, or he keeps forgetting stuff, and so she's sort of like his sort of like, shut up, or this kind of like, dealing with the kind of the batty old man kind of thing. You barely even see her, so it was really kind of like a cheat reveal, because then it was her at the end, and no, still have no idea what her actual motivation was and what she was doing it. So I thought that it was a bit of a
It's
it didn't
interesting.
really.
I thought it was interesting that they revealed her a little bit earlier than they normally would.
Yeah. That was interesting, because I was like, oh, they revealed it. I was like, oh, is this a kind of a red herring, or are they trying to misdirect? But no, it was just so that you could follow her doing a few more killings or whatever. But I, yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that either. I don't think it worked or was against it. I don't think it was either or in that case. I mean, it just sort of, it was a choice, and it was what it was. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of loose. It could have used some better editing. Could have used some time. It wasn't particularly long. How long was it? 147, but it still felt kind of long to me. It wasn't, especially considering. Yeah, I don't know. It was a meh for me.
Okay,
This whole movie.
it's an
Yeah.
interesting one. It's an example for me as well. I like it more than you do, but
Mm.
I will say there's a thing about like horror fans in
Mm.
general, and this just about fits into that category. And certainly its fandom comes from horror fandom more than from anywhere else, right? But
Right.
horror fans are a very loyal and forgiving breed, right? And
Mm.
I think when a film, because this has a pretty substantial cult following, and I think
Mm.
because horror fans are so eager to want to be pleased, and I think when anything comes along like this, which is because this is like if it is a horror film, it's a kind of like a proper grown-up horror film in a way, right? It's like a whodunnit, and it's got
Yeah.
for the genre, it's got richly drawn characters, and it's like in that European tradition of the giallo or something like that. So when something comes along like this, which is, I would say, a notch or two above the norm,
Mm.
sometimes horror fans kind of lose their critical faculties at the door, and they go a bit over the top in terms of praising something. So I think this is a better than average film of its type, but
Mm.
it's certainly not quite the out and out classic that some people would have you believe it is. I think would be fair to say.
What would you say were its failings?
Well, it's not so much that there's failings. It's. I mean, it's a pretty good whodunit, with a relatively satisfying reveal, and I quite like that there's one extra death at the end that you don't expect, right?
Which one?
Well, when she finally slices the throat of the priest, right? The one who she was
Oh,
doing
the priest.
before in the
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so it's not so much that it had failings in so much as I think it was just doing something quite well, and no more beyond that. It's just a pretty
Mm.
well made
Right.
pretty well made thriller, and it deserves just to be known as a pretty good thriller, and that's about it. But
Right.
because of whatever marketing or the kind of for some because they got the horror fans involved,
Mm.
then it got this kind of elevated cult thing, which I think might set up, like I would imagine some people who'd heard about this film for years and years and years, hadn't seen it, and then finally when it came out on Blu-ray got to see it. I can imagine a lot of people probably felt a little bit let down. It wasn't quite what they were led to believe it was. I saw it years ago on VHS after moving to Japan, and it had been built up slightly over the years, but not enough that, so I could still appreciate it as, oh yeah, it's pretty good, if not that good. But I can imagine if you had decades of hearing how awesome it was, it would have been a little bit of a letdown in that regard.
Well, but I mean, I would say that actually I'd never even heard of it, so it wasn't built up for me. But it was.
That's probably the best way to go into it then. Yeah.
Yeah, but it still was not that impressive for me. I thought it was. I thought it. Yeah, it was. I thought it was a little bit messy. I thought, I was like, I don't know what's happening or who's killing. I just thought it wasn't.
Oh, really?
With a thriller,
I didn't have a problem with that.
like this, I think it really needs to be tight, and I thought it was not as tight as it should have been.
Oh, see, I disagree with you. The one thing I quite like about this is its kind of looseness. I think that's something
really?
actually I would put in the plus category.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't so loose. It wasn't so loose in terms of like I don't think they didn't lose the thread of the story, or you felt as if they didn't know who the killer was. I think if you went back and checked it, I think it would all kind of more or less make sense, right? But it was.
So can you clarify for me? I'm still not sure what was her motivation.
Why? I think it was that family represented, because number one, they're divorced, right? I think that was the main.
Okay.
And yeah, I think she thought that they weren't deserving of that nice young priest's attention, right? And then I think she thought that the girl is this little slut who was playing up to the. Well, and plus as well, she got the cross, right, present at the beginning, and I think she thought that was maybe coming to her, that heirloom, or yeah. So I'll agree with you. It's not the strongest motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not exactly she's not the best reveal killer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's.
I mean, I was mostly like, wait, who is that again? It was like the reveal was like, wait, who is that? Oh, was that the one from with the Monsignor? Well, why? And so, and I found myself kind of like, well, I don't get it. Why is it her? Why? And I just sort of like, I didn't really care that much, to be honest. So yeah. Although I thought the girl was quite good. What's her face? Paula Shepherd. Yeah, she did quite good. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was sort of. I've seen better thrillers, and slasher thrillers, and it just didn't really impress me that much. I thought it was just okay.
I was thinking, actually, I tell you exactly the same kind of time period and place of another different type of film we've done, though. But isn't this basically the same world as the World of Doubt?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe right there, but yeah.
If I remember, that was like, yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I don't think there's any thing to be had upon dwelling anymore on. Alfred Saul did go on to make a very strange film called Tanya's Island, and he made the slasher parody Pandemonium, which I've never actually seen. But
okay.
Right. So, second in our New Jersey double bill, The Deadly Spawn, or Return of the Aliens, The Deadly Spawn, as it's also known, from 1982. And this is full on. We're in creature feature territory here, right? Meteorite crashes in the woods. Some campers get killed. Something grows. We see a silhouette against the camp. What could it be? Cut to, I guess suburban New Jersey. A kind of extended family in a house. There's a mother, a father, the auntie, and the uncle is staying, and there's a younger monster movie obsessed kid and an older scientist, a student interested in science, and his friends who come over. And there's something in their basement which has a lot of teeth,
Very TV.
and then some kind of, I don't know, some kind of women's auxiliary meeting or PTA or something comes over to provide more victims. And basically, yeah, aliens with big teeth eat people. There's gore, and it's up to our plucky young monster movie loving kid hero, who's obviously a kind of proxy stand-in for the director, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Eventually kind of defeats it until there's a fun reveal, surprise ending, and that's about it, right? Plot wise, it's a monster in the basement film. And I'll go first on this one. I really enjoyed the Deadly Spawn. The first time I saw it, and this time I've only ever seen this film twice, but boy, is this a fun. This is exactly what this kind of film should be, right? 82 minutes, in and out, made with love. You can tell, on a low budget, but great effects work. The gore is fun, and what I really dig is the surprise ending is not just pan across to, oh, there's an egg left or some shit like that, which you've seen a million, or they still do. I saw that in a film the other day. Oh, an egg is left, for fuck's sake. No, it's got a proper good surprise kind of ending.
Which is?
Which is, it turns out to be like, I don't know exactly, but it's almost as it seems as if the reveal is like an entire mountain or something, and the background suddenly turns into a big monster, right? So it's like,
right,
yeah, great. Yeah, all the characters are fun. They're likable. They're not your average cardboard cutout horror victims, and a few people you don't expect to die do die. It doesn't dial down on the gore, and like I said, the effects and everything are just top notch. Like, but fingerprints on them. It's made with love. It's made with care. Directed by Doug McGowan, and John Dodds, the co-writer. He did all the effects. He also worked on Spookies, which we watched, and Don Dollar's Night Beast, which we might get to when we get to Baltimore. But how did you get on with The Deadly Spawn, Ron?
Well, Clive, I love this movie. This was
excellent.
This movie was awesome. I really wish that this was exactly the kind of movies we watched every week, or every time we do this, because this was exactly the kind of movie that was right in my wheelhouse. I really loved this movie. It was. As you said, it was exactly what these movies should be. I was just shocked at the production value of that monster, considering how obviously low budget they had. Like, it was properly like a really, really well done. Like, it's just basically Audrey 2, basically, right, with lots of teeth. But it was properly really, 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 really good special effects, good gore. It's like super, super low budget, but it was so fun. Yeah, like everyone, even the actors, you could tell that they were all having a great time, and they were really, fully selling their roles. I mean, there was none of this kind of wooden, kind of like low budget, we've never acted before kind of actors. They were still into it. Everyone was gonna, they really committed and sold all their lines. Some of the talky parts got a little like, okay, let's just get back to the monster, right? But
the whole thing's so brief that
it doesn't really matter. It was exactly what these movies should be. So it was awesome. It was really fun. This movie.
I had a feeling you would enjoy this. I mean, considering how many other films of its type shoot themselves in the foot by having too many of those talky scenes, I mean, this more or less gets it. I mean, it's interesting because in 82, so this is kind of the same year as Evil Dead comes out as well, right? And that's another good example of how it's slightly different, but how you do this kind of thing well, right? Like someone
on a low budget, right? I'm surprised that this movie. I was really surprised that this movie doesn't have a bigger kind of name for itself. I mean, this is exactly the kind of movie my friends, when I was growing up watching these movies, this is exactly the kind of movie we would have like gone apeshit over.
Yeah,
But I don't never heard of this movie. I've never. So I'm really surprised it doesn't have more of a name for itself.
yeah, I agreed. I mean, the cult following on this one is relatively minor and doesn't seem to have grown in status over, despite now that there's a proper Blu-ray out there and it's got commentary track on it and stuff like that. And yeah, it is a bit of an odd one because, like you said, so many other films that require a certain amount of special pleading to get you on board with this. This doesn't even need that because, like you said, all the work's so strong in it. You just go for it. You appreciate it at face value. Nothing really lets the side down at all. But for some reason, this isn't as celebrated as something like Evil Dead, for example.
Evil Dead, yeah. I was the whole time I was watching. I was like, this movie's awesome. Why is this movie not more famous? I couldn't figure it out, and even like as you said, that big reveal at the very end where it's like not even because they keep saying it just keeps getting bigger. They keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it pulls out and it's got like the whole mountain next to the house just kind of sets up, and it didn't even look cheap. Like it looks like properly like it was a proper like. Well, that mountain just stood up and walked away. Like it didn't look like a cartoon or really like. I was like, I don't even know how they did that on this page. So it was awesome. Yeah. So
it's almost depressing in a way that people went to the trouble to make something this good and weren't rewarded for it or didn't.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was like, I felt really bad that I'd never heard or seen this movie before and I immediately wanted to email all my friends back in Canada and say, hey, you should find this movie and find it. But I don't know how. Yeah. So because it was, it really should have a bigger,
and there were sequels
fandom than it does, and it deserves a remake, I think, too, right? So
yeah. But even if there wasn't one, just watch this version again, right? I mean, the sequels. There was Metamorphosis, the Alien Factor, in 1990, which wasn't bad and it wasn't as good as this, but it's not bad. And then there was another one, which is arguably not even a sequel, but in some places it was called Deadly Spawn 3, and that's called the Regenerated Man. But if memory serves, it wasn't very good and didn't even have the same monster in it anyway, so I don't think it counts as a proper.
And what a shame also that the writer director Douglas McKeown, whatever. That's it. That's all he did. He did like kind of one other kind of thing called The Watermelon Woman, which I don't.
Yes, more recently,
just a comedy drama, but he never did it again, and that was it. It was what a shame. I think this guy could have really had a really good filmography behind him, because this was his one and only kind of main effort. What a shame. It was too bad.
Yeah, no, definitely a shot in 16mm little gem that if you've run out of other kind of horror classics and you think there's nothing out there, to give the Deadly Spawn a go, I think, because it's a rollicking ride all the way, right? It's just great fun. It's a smile on your face. Yeah. So there we go. That's New Jersey wrapped up.
All right.
Off we go. We're going somewhere else. I can't remember before you ask, but we'll be there next time.
Okay.
Look out.
See you later, Garden State.
Yes. Cheerio. Bye-bye.